All right, let's get started. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Good afternoon, good morning. I hope you have a great start to the day, noon. So today we have yet another interesting session. So as a part of What the Hack series, Cracking Founder-Led Sales, we have Nadia, Head of Business Development from lemlist, joining us to demystify how to crack the founder-led sales. So she spent enormous amount of time in the startup space. So we'd see in depth in terms of like how we will, how early stage founders can crack the sales early on in the journey. Before we move on, I'll just give a quick intro about what Freshworks is. So at a snapshot, we are a 10-year-old firm. We've raised funding from some of the marquee investors like Google, Axel, Sequoia, Tiger Global. We've been featured in the Forbes 4 times in a row. And this year we've upped our rank. So we've ranked as the 10th in the listing. We've crossed more than 4,000 employees and we've served more than 50,000 customers across the globe. So we operate in 2 key domains. One is customer solutions and second is employee solutions. So all the products that we have are spread across help desk, sales automation, marketing automation. And when it comes to employee solutions, we have Fresh Service, which is a IT service management platform, and Fresh Team is a recruitment platform. Now coming to Freshworks for Startups, to which we are all meeting. So Freshworks for Startups is a 1.5-year initiative. We've started is to enable startups to help them in their journey to build the rocket ship for growth. We have 3 key offerings. One is access to products along with the Viglo onboarding support. So startups can get credits of up to $10,000 that will be spread across the different products that we just saw. But yeah, we don't just limit there. The second and third thing is access to mentorship or ecosystem. So What the Hack series is part of this initiative. And here we bring in thought leaders similar to Nadia from across the ecosystem that we built so far to enable startups learn and grow in the journey. So we were fortunate enough to work with some of the amazing partners, which includes a good mix of accelerators, VCs, incubators across the globe. Before taking a lot of time, so in today's session, Nadia will be taking us through a journey of how lemlist has evolved from 0 to 1 million in ARR in the first phase, and how Nadia later on joined the team to scale it to from 1 to 8 million in ARR. So a quick intro: Nadia is she's the first hire in lemlist in the sales, and she has scaled she has one of the leading person to build the process. She's formed the team, and also she has scaled the revenue from 1 mil to 8 million. And right now she's completely managing the team remotely. And she has also played a major role in our previous startup shift to take the company from starting from the scratch to leading it to a Series A. Apart from that, she is constantly up in the market, connecting with the founders, helping them in setting up their processes and consulting, and at the same time, being a part of the entire journey of the founders. So I'll not take a lot of time. I think I'll thank you for joining us, Nadia. We are definitely excited. I have been following the lemlist journey for a long time. We'd love to see and hear more from your experience and take it from there. Yeah, but yeah, feel free to, for the audience, yeah, feel free to share your questions in the Q&A or chat section. Happy to take it up and look further. Over to you, Nadia.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And it was a lovely introduction. Really actually amazing learning a bit more about Freshworks. And thank you for a lovely intro about myself as well. I would love to get started, first of all, with our presentation for today so that I can actually share some slides with you, but I would like to make a quick intro. So just give me a second to actually make sure that I can actually share my screen with you all. And just let me know once you can see it. I have no idea how to do this. Give me a second. Okay. So are you right now seeing my screen? Nanda, could you let me know, please?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, it's screen. Yep.
Okay, so today, as Nanda mentioned before, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is cracking founder-led sales. And we're going to talk you through it from a perspective of what happened with us with lemlist and how we managed to go from $0 to $8 million ARR in just 3.5 years. I'm going to try to make this webinar as actionable as possible for you all. So we're not going to be talking only about lemlist, obviously. We're going to be talking about how you can take those strategies and implement them within your own businesses. As Nanda mentioned, just to quickly introduce myself as well, I'm a head of business development here at lemlist, and I actually joined the company as a first sales hire. So the moment when I joined, we were at $1 million ARR. And up until then, all of the foundation that has been built and all of the growth that has been done through our founder himself. So today I want to share his story with you on how he managed to do that and the foundation that enabled me to then take this 1 million and push the growth to 8 million ARR in my 1.5 years that I've been here with lemlist so far. As I said, in the first 2 years of lemlist, our CEO Guillaume was the one who was completely leading sales, and he had sales and marketing on his back. So I'm assuming right now we have a lot of founders on the webinar that are, starting their own businesses. You have your mission, your vision. You want to make sure that you're pushing that company to the top. And the fact is, right now, marketing, sales, everything is right now on your plate. So that's exactly what happened with Guillaume, our CEO. And he was smart enough, I would say, to actually take the initial investment of just 1,000 euros and basically turn it into 1 million after just 2 years. So today my goal is to actually show to you how he managed to do that and how you can implement the similar strategies for your own businesses. Because obviously we see a lot of companies who are starting out and founders are super motivated, but they're coming from a technical backgrounds or business backgrounds. They're not really equipped in sales or marketing. So what happens is that their go-to-marketing strategies sometimes tend to go and fly themselves into the ground. So what we're going to be talking to today and what I'm going to try to share with you is how you can right now, if you're a founder of your business or your startup or working in sales and marketing, helping out your founders, how you can right now generate your initial sales with limited marketing and sales budget. Additionally, improve your sales pipeline by leveraging digital platforms and leveraging your personal brand, and really create that scalable foundation for your future sales team. And obviously, at the end, hopefully avoid some of the typical mistakes that, let's face it, all of the founders tend to make. Now, before we get started, I would really love to know who we are, who am I talking to today on this webinar. So if you are a founder, on the poll that I think Nanda will just right now share with you, let me know if you're a founder, if you're working in sales, or if you're working in marketing and growth. And let's see who we are going to be talking to so that we can adapt our presentation a bit better for your needs. Okay. So what we're going to do is today, this webinar is going to be focused mostly for startup founders. And we're going to go through the essentials and actionable tips of founder-led selling to help you basically in this early stage startup moments. And your go-to-market strategies. We see too many startup founders actually flying their go-to-market strategies into grounds because they're focusing on different things that they should in the early stages of your growth. So we're going to try to avoid that. And I'm going to give you a story of our founder, Guillaume Besch. So he's obviously a French dude. With his marketing with his master's in marketing, and he has background in chemical engineering. Now he's also 30 years old, so no pressure. We're all getting there, I would say. And you might be wondering right now, how did he went from being a chemical engineer to actually today building a business that in 3.5 years went from $0 to $8 million ARR bootstrapped, meaning that we haven't accepted any funding. gaining more than 10,000 clients around the world, being an international conference and TEDx speaker, becoming a global expert with more than 200 media features, featuring on international press, and actually just recently refusing $30 million investment offer, with 5 million of it going straight to his pocket. So we decided to remain bootstrapped, and today I want to share how he managed to get to this moment where he's actually able to refuse this much money. And we're going to talk about go-to-market strategies in their early stages, with a special focus on minimizing your costs and maximizing your cash. So I would like to go and start with an easy and simple mistake that everybody make, which is really not having a clearly outlined plan on where you're going to go in the first journey to your 1 million. So as a founder, you might be tempted, to try out different things, figure it out, talk to your network, just develop your product in any way that you would like to kind of work around. But what will happen is that if you don't have a clearly outlined, documented plan, you will spend your time on something that might not get results. Each sale that you make will depend entirely on your efforts. You won't be able to scale um, your growth afterwards when you hire your sales team, and you will have troubles identifying where and how your products should grow. So let's create a plan together today. And the focus on that plan will be how to define your target audience and really learn about your market. How to build your sales strategy around it, and then build your brand, your personal brand, and adapt your LinkedIn strategy to your goal. And all of this will combine into one scalable foundation for your future sales team. So our end goal is for you to be in a position as I was when I came into our company, where I had the perfect foundation that enabled me to actually make sure that we grow so fast afterwards. All of the work that our founder did in the beginning was the reason that we were later on successful. And I want to help you do the same today. So by $1 million ARR, what you should have in place is a really clearly documented information on your ICP and your market. ICP meaning ideal customer profile. So anybody who is right now looking for your product on the market. You should have built your network and your loyal customers, early adopters base. So people who already know you, already know your product, and are already fond of you, and somebody you can ask for referrals and just create that word of mouth. You should have positioned yourself as an expert and a leader in the industry. So somebody who people can go and ask for advice. And additionally, really you as a founder, by 1 million, you need to know and understand what your customers need from your product and where your product should evolve. And you should do this only by listening to your customers. Now, understanding of what's working and what's not working in sales specifically is something that will also help your future sales team figure out where to start when you actually hire your first head of sales and they start scaling your team. Now, the mistake number 2 that we often see is failing to nail down the ICP, so ideal customer profile. The reason that identifying your ideal customer profile is on you and is essential in this stage of business is because knowing your ICP, first of all, will help you determine how your product should evolve, how your sales process should evolve, in general, the direction of your company. And once you know who you're talking to and who is your ICP, everything becomes so much easier. You will be targeting people in the same industry, same niche, meaning that you will be creating that word of mouth effect, which happens when basically people in the same industry like your product and they start talking to each other. You'll be able to decide where direction your company needs to go in. And at the end, your future team, trust me, will very much appreciate it and will be thankful for you. Now, typically when you're identifying your ICP and your ideal customer profile, you tend to think about, okay, this is the company size that I want to target. I want to target maybe SMB, small, medium-sized businesses. This is the approximate revenue that they're generating yearly. This is the location, position, title of the persona that I want to target, years of experience, industry, etc. So these are like all generic, broad filters that you can use actually in Sales Navigator to nail it down. But what I mean when I say you as a founder need to really understand the ICP, I don't mean simply this. I think that you right now need to dig a lot deeper. and you need to identify what are your buying signals. So who on the market right now is in the moment that they're buying products like yours, and why are they buying it at this moment? So you need to identify what is the reason that at one certain period of time your potential ICP is going to be looking for your product. You need to understand who they are as a person. You need to understand their day in life, the way that you are going to be approaching them. So their like background, their culture, the tonality that you're going to be reaching out to them. You really need to know this person as if you were dating them, or if they were your wife or kids. Like, you need to understand your ICP by the 1 million, same as if it was your best friend. Now, to do that, you as a founder can actually do it in multiple ways. And this is what our CEO Guillaume did in the first days of lemlist. One of the most important and beneficial things that you can do as a founder is have networking calls with potential buyers. When I say networking calls, I really mean networking calls, so not sales calls where you would be simply talking to your customers and trying to sell them your product. I really mean identifying and learning more about them, about their product, about their challenges, their pain points, their day in life, how their work is being measured, and really gathering that knowledge. Going from there, insight calls with your existing clients. So talking to the clients that you might already have and clients that you will be early adopters of your platform will be super useful for you to generate what is actually that your product is offering that they need the most. Joining support calls for your clients is also an amazing thing, but because you will see what is it about your platform that they might not like, and you will be removing that pre-assumptions on what it is that is valuable, but you will be actually listening to your customers on what it is that is valuable. Joining relevant communities to gather insights on the industry, monitoring competitors, their content and their news. They've already done their go-to-market. They've already identified what is the audience looking for. Copy paste them a bit, see what they're actually doing, what they're writing about, find their weaknesses, and then potentially build a product around it as well. And obviously attending industry events for any networking purposes or gathering insights in general on the industry. Now, quick tips on additional tips on how to nail down your ICP. Use platforms such as Reddit, Quora, see what the audience is asking, what are the questions, what are the main struggles, what it is that is not being covered currently on the market. And one of the hacks that you might not know is that job posts from your potential customers are amazing source of information, because you can actually see the challenges they're facing within the job descriptions. Now, going from there, online reviews of your competitors are a great way to see what it is that your customers are currently struggling with on the market, that are not being, the pains are not being solved. And it's a great way for you to also develop your potential platform around it. Now, the mistake number 3 is actually being too in love with your product. So you built your company from ground up. You have your mission, your vision. You love the product. You put all of your money into it, your determination. And it's very hard when you actually hear somebody else telling you, okay, I want this. You shouldn't build a product like this. This is not something that I want to see. And founders, from my experience, tend to get stuck on their vision of how their product should look like. What that creates is the moment that they're not receptive to feedback. They're not creating the product that actually meets customers' needs. They only create a product that they like. And instead of being too in love with your product, you should actually be in love with your customers. This will actually enable you to build a product that your customers need and want. And instead of you being deaf to their needs, and you'll be not so agile in adapting to their needs and the needs of the market. Now, how do we actually start your founder-led sales? And just give me a second. I see we have some questions here, so I just want to make sure we're not skipping any. Okay. So going from here, and now I cannot hide give me a second, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. So how do we actually right now start our founder-led sales? when it comes to sales in general, the biggest problem that we see, and if you're on LinkedIn, you're already seeing it all over the place, is the moment where the biggest mistake that is happening is that people are really focusing on sales and not on building relationships. You as a founder has such a unique advantage, which is you have your story. And by sharing your story, your vision, your mission, and building relationships with people and arousing that emotion within the people instead of pitching your product features, your product, this is where you will be able to create and share that story with them, arouse their emotion, and actually get them interested in your product. So instead of you going straight to cold emails and just blasting to thousands of people, you as a founder should be generating sales by first building relevant relationships and leveraging your existing network, experimenting with different cold outbound approaches, building your personal brand and using digital platforms, and really positioning yourself as an authoritative expert in the industry and giving valuable advice. You need to be perceived as somebody who is in that industry, have his own story, you're unique, you should be transparent so that people can easily relate to you and really give valuable advice on the things that you're going through. Now, why is networking so important? Because instead of sending thousands of emails that will get you an answer or yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not interested, you will have, by building relationships, you will have the opportunity to first meet business potential partners, get intros and referrals to other businesses, learn from people, network with them, learn from their experiences, get business recommendations, hire top talent, and really sell without actually selling. In short, networking really opens up endless new doors for you, and so much more than a typical cold outbound that we will be doing, however, not as a biggest focus. So how do you find actually the people to start networking with when you're starting out your sales journey? First, you can actually use your existing clients, if you already have clients, to find new ones. Cool hack from the Sales Navigator is that you can actually type in the name of your best, let's say, paying customer, go to Sales Navigator and view similar. By viewing similar, you will get a list of all of the leads that are similar to the your best performing client, meaning that you will be able to reach out to them and get a list to basically network with. Going from here, you can also use your existing network. So in Sales Navigator, you can just boil it down to your industry, title that you want to reach out, and really reach out to them easily. Now, the thing is with in the moment of growing your business to 1 million ARR, you're very short on time. So I would really encourage every founder out there. Yes, you can do it everything manually. You can handle it all because you're a single person doing it, all of these things. However, I really want to recommend not trying out a couple of solutions that can help you automate some time and save you some time. What you can do is you can actually use those leads and automate your outreach to avoid spending time on sending manually connection requests on LinkedIn, visiting somebody's profile, sending them emails and follow-ups, forgetting to follow up because you don't obviously have time to focus on that only right now in this stage. So by actually using automation tools, you will be saving a lot of times in the beginning, and you will be giving a foundation for your future sales team on what is actually good and what is not, and what they can be using in the future. So this is something that we are right now have been using. So this is the first campaign that our Guillaume, our CEO, actually did. So same as the way that he actually used created the list, he now imported these leads into our own platform, so lemlist, and automated his outreach via LinkedIn, email, cold calls. And when sending campaigns, you as a founder really need to think about how you're going to be presenting your story. So it's not about being a typical salesperson who's just going to be pitching cold emails. It's about you reaching out with relevance and really putting your personality across. Great way to do that is by using videos. This was the first campaign that our CEO did when he started off Lemlist, one of the first campaigns. As you can see, he actually leveraged videos in his emails with customized first names, logos that were automatically embedded with lemlist into his campaigns, which really allowed him to put his personality across. This video actually led to a landing page that was created literally in 5 minutes. And basically within that landing page, they would be able to watch a video, get a sense of his story, of his mission, and actually book a meeting with him using Calendly or any other calendar solution that he used at that time. Now, the results of this is that out of 32 people that G reached out to back then, he met 11 of them, generating 25 intros to relevant prospects, signed the biggest enterprise client that we currently have. Half of the people he met became our loyal customers and generated more than $100,000 in revenue. So you see that only 32 people here on the list actually generated so many results, showing you how much building relationships actually have more impact than actually spamming and blasting people. I've just put this slide here in case we are going to be sharing it. I will not go too much into depth right now because we are short on time. However, the biggest point that I'm trying to make here is to not focus on quantity. You're going to be tempted to reach out to as much as people as possible. You might get some responses, but the results will be short term and not so valuable as if you would be having it with building relationships. Now, going from here, the thing that I would like to highlight is that the cold emailing played a huge part in our growth. Simply because cold emails really allow you to get in touch with anybody. It's very affordable, it's very scalable, and it allows you to really build a highly predictive sales pipeline. You can easily A/B test, spot what is working, what is not, and you will have a clear vision on what is working for your audience. One of the first campaigns that we've done were around events. So if obviously we have so many online events right now, so many webinars, you can use this as a great source for potentially meeting new leads and prospects. And what he did at that moment is he joined one of the events, got a list of customers, all of the attendees that are visiting that webinar, and actually send them again a personalized campaign with personalized video, inviting them just to catch up, to network before the event, which actually led to 44 meetings booked. As you can see, sales doesn't have to be about pitching your product. The longer in the sales journey that you mention your product, the better you're going to get better results. Now, my latest tips on the cold emailing part is that you as a founder obviously will not be able to figure out cold emailing or sales right now just by watching this webinar. So, but sales will still be on your back. So my advice is to really educate yourselves on cold outbound, follow LinkedIn thought leaders that are talking about it, me included, join communities. We have a lemlist family with 16,000 members. Rev Genius is also an amazing community on this topic. Watch webinars, watch podcasts. And as a gift to you all, I'm putting a link to our cold email masterclass. So it's a 2 hours masterclass on cold emailing, where we share all of our cold emailing secrets. So if anybody actually wants to learn about cold emails and how to write them properly, here is your chance. I'm gonna take a little bit of pause and ask you if you're actually enjoying the webinar until now. I'm gonna go back to our slides and actually see what you guys are writing in the Q&A. Yes, Kevin, the masterclass is 4 hours, which is nice. Thanks for the edit. Okay, so I saw an amazing question, which is how this can be adapted to B2C. It's similar thing. Obviously, B2B is a bit more complicated, I would say, when it comes to not complicated, but different. But it boils down to the same thing, really being customer centric, focused on your customers and providing value. We're going to go back to your questions because we have a bit of a short time here. So I know Nanda is going to cut me at one point and kill me for talking too long. So let's go back to our slides and just let me know if you can see it again. Nanda, are we here?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
We have some interesting questions also flowing in the Q&A section, but yeah.
Okay, do you want to, if there is anything interesting that you want to maybe bring up, maybe you can, do you want to read it to me? If you don't
I think maybe we can park it towards the Q&A, but it's, I think even the folks are loving it in the chat, so glad to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I will try to keep it short so that I can actually answer your questions. I love that you're being engaged and I would love to kind of talk to you all in person, but obviously we have some slides here and we need to stick to the plan. So my question for you is, are you currently working on your personal brand, and how many of you actually right now are trying to figure out their LinkedIn journey as we speak? And this is actually what I would love to see in the comments. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and see if, yes, Frankie, I know you're super active on LinkedIn. John, no worries. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to ping me if you need help. We're going to, perfect. I see so many yeses, which is very nice. Hesitant. Okay, you will not be hesitant after this, I'm hoping. Awesome. Okay, I'm happy to hear. Very new to LinkedIn. Okay, perfect. We're going to be talking about personal branding right now. Before I go into that, I see a lot of you are right now hesitant about working on their LinkedIn brands and are curious about how to build it. I want to highlight, and I didn't put this in presentation, but I want to share it with you all, that I started my LinkedIn journey about a year and a half ago. Today, I'm perceived as a thought leader on LinkedIn, which is still very weird for me, to be quite frank. My sales team, every single sales member who joins in the company starts working on their LinkedIn branding. Right now, we're reaching more than 1 million views with our posts. To take Simon, my BDR, as an example, he started with the post that got 4 likes. Today, he gets more than 100,000 views on his posts, and he's very active, very huge connections, and he started in October. So guys, if we can do it, you can do it. Let's go just how we can actually make it happen. So let's talk about personal branding. As you know, in this stage of growth, obviously no marketing, no problem. My marketing team might disagree at this moment. But really your own brand is your power. And you as a founder, as you said, have such a huge value, and you, the more transparent, the more vulnerable you are about your journey, about how you managed to start your own business, the more people will relate, and you need to put that story and message across. Always remember that people actually relate to people. They do not connect and relate with companies or businesses. So it's you that need to put that message across. Communities are a great source of information for you, and a great resource for you, where you can actually start engaging a lot with your potential ICP. If you're, for example, if your ICP is French founders, join French communities where you have a lot of French founders, where you can actually talk to them, give them value, not only about the solution that you're providing, but about any question that they may have. Share your stories, share your insights. But the question, and the better question, is why not build your own community? You probably already have your network of people you're constantly talking to, who are asking you for advice. Maybe not yet, but you will have at one point if you actually start building these relationships. And the question is, why not build your own community around the problem that you're actually right now solving? That's what G, our co-founder, did. And he actually right now created the sales automation family, lemlist family, that right now he has 16,000 members. We started from nothing, obviously, as anybody, and we grew so fast. If you're in lemlist family, please comment. I would love to see comments afterwards. I would love to know who is in our community watching here. And the value of this building your community is not only that you will be obviously able to talk about your product, you're going to be able to refine your product market fit by communicating actually with your users. So the more you're actually taking a pause and listening to your audience, your customers, the more you're going to be able to hear your customer's voice and really understand what it is that they're right now needing and facing. This is how our biggest and best feature has been built, because one of our community members actually proposed it as something that we can build. And that's how Lemworm, our feature that helps you get away from that horrible spam folder and your emails to basically remove your cold emails from spam folders, have been built. Now, going from here, it also enables you to open up new revenue streams. So whenever you have a new product update or a new feature coming up, you're able to actually create a lot of upsells, because you're going to be having a place where you can actually promote it a bit additionally. Now, going back to the question why you should even build your brand, for those who are hesitant in the chat. First of all, it's an easy way to increase your company's revenue. The more you start posting, the more people will see. It's a typical brand awareness moment where people will be starting to check out your product, check out your website, and potentially if they like the product, they will be starting to buy it. Additionally, it's not only the brand awareness moment, it's that people are going to start coming to you and they're going to be starting to talk to you in the first place, and you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to talk about your product and obviously make some sales. It's also a great way for you to develop your network. We already talked about the benefits of building a network, but I want to highlight it one more time. Now, it's also an amazing way to position yourself as an expert and really build the credibility. Again, companies that have great CEOs that people trust are the companies that succeed. Companies can have a great, amazing product, but the moment where people lose trust in the founders, in the CEO and the company owners, that's where sales gets tricky and where everything else gets tricky, obviously. And again, people relate to people and not brands. Now, a couple of tips on how you can right now easily as a founder grow your profile. Obviously, you're going to have so much things on your plate, so I don't want to. I don't expect from you to be on your LinkedIn every single day, although I would very much recommend it. So there are some useful tools that can help you automate some of your outreach, I would say. Phantom Buster is an amazing tool for this. It can help you automatically connect with the potential prospects on LinkedIn. By using Sales Navigator filters, you're going to be able to create a list of leads that you want to connect with based on their position, title, industry, etc. Put the link into Phantom Buster and start automating your outreach. Obviously, this is not ideal because at that moment, you still want to get that moment of building a relationship. But a quick tip is you can try to connect first without the personalized note. If it's not accepted, you can always withdraw those pending requests and then send a personalized message, or send an empty connection request and start the conversation when they accept manually. A great way to grow your profile is to actually use other people's comments. In your industry, you will have so many thought leaders that are talking about the topic that you're solving. Use those posts until you have your brand to actually start building your brand. For example, here we have Beck Holland, who is a thought leader in our industry right now, so cold emailing. What we started doing in the beginning is we started engaging with people who are actually commenting on her posts and commenting on her posts as well, so that of course not only hers but all of the thought leaders, because that is a great way for you to be seen from the ICP that is following the thought leader that you're talking to. By creating value in the comments, people are starting to notice you, they're going to start connecting with you, and it's all about engaging with others and providing them a lot of value. Okay, obviously this is some gift that I've put in just to make you laugh. Now, when it comes to creating a LinkedIn content, as I said, job is not finished here. So obviously for creating a LinkedIn content, if you're skeptical, if you're not that good at copywriting, and if you're scared about writing on LinkedIn, take it easy, start first engaging, build your network, start talking to people in DM. Don't push it straight to the post, but at one point, creating your own content is the best way to go. Because when you actually expose people to your content, they will know where you're actually being an expert at. So if your solution helps, such the same as lemlist, so if you're automating cross-channel outreach, you want to be able to talk about the pains of doing cross-channel outreach, pains of that salespeople are facing, and the moment where you give value and are constantly providing value, that's where you're being perceived as credible, that's where you're seen as a thought leader, and that's where you will not be needing to hunt for leads and for sales. You're going to be in a moment where people are going to be coming to you asking for your help, and that's where you want to come. When it comes to writing LinkedIn posts, don't talk about your product, don't talk about your features. Nobody wants to hear about, hey, we've raised this money, hey, we've just got a new feature, hey, we're the best at this, I have a new amazing hire. Nobody really cares about you, which is a bit harsh, but true. they care about themselves, and your job is to make their lives easier, better, and to give them some value. um, Meaning that your post should really be talking about solution to their problems, or something that they can actually relate to. So do not try to be perfect. Be real, be authentic, be transparent, be human, because that's where vulnerability and transparency is shown, is where the moment where people really relate to you. As I said, make it value packed, easy to understand, clear design of your post is also important. And what we're obviously writing LinkedIn posts is tough not to crack, but just by building his LinkedIn, Guillaume, our founder, that was his main focus in the first 2 years. He got to a moment where he had 19,000 connections, 1 million views on his posts, positioned himself as a true authority, created LinkedIn as a high performing awareness channel for us and lead generation channel for us. And the benefits of the networking that he had are literally unquantifiable. To the moment where when we actually joined, and I joined as a salesperson, I was shocked that my first KPIs were actually LinkedIn and LinkedIn branding. I had never posted before in my life on LinkedIn, only of course stupid posts such as I just got a new job, etc. But then I started posting, and today we have the same strategy for our entire sales team. We get more than 1 million views every month on our posts, and we all start the same way. So if you right now want to start, we're going to have a webinar on how to build your LinkedIn brand, of course, free for all of you to watch. Guillaume is going to be personally sharing all of his secrets. So for everybody interested, we're going to put a link in the comments afterwards so that you can actually check it out. And I really hope you're going to start building your LinkedIn brands. It's so worth it. I'm going to put a slide here on why it worked, but I don't want to spend too much out of your time right now. I want to kind of start to wrapping it up so we can cover your questions. One tip that I have is to really be self-aware of your flaws. I know founders tend to have, and I know some of you might get a bit mad for me saying this, but you tend to have a huge ego. So be self-aware and really work on your skills. Try to identify what it is that you could improve yourself, what it is that where you need feedback. Ask for positive, negative criticism from your team, from your co-founders, from the audience, from the people that you're working with, and really consult your network, because you don't know what you don't know. You might avoid some of the mistakes that other founders have made. Don't be stuck on your own way. And again, many of the challenges that you're currently facing have been already solved and faced. So be open to it, and be open to criticism and self-improvement, as I'm sure all of you who are on the webinar today are, because you're watching this webinar today. And the last thing, and the most important one, is to really set the foundation for your team. Everything that you're currently doing in this early stage, if you're having calls with your clients, if you're doing some product feedbacks, whatever it is, make sure you document it and put it in the same organized place. Because when your Nadia comes into your team, you want to be able to give her a clear understanding of what is the market like, who are your competitors, what it is that your customers are facing, who is your ICP. You already should have done a lot of outbound tests so that she or I know, okay, this is working, this is not working. You should have industry insights. Any events that you visited, you should have a list of their attendees, and really give a foundation for your team to actually start scaling. This is the moment where you will spare at least 3 to 5 months of somebody repeating your job of what you've been doing already for a couple of years, wasting your money on their salaries and their time on figuring it out. Also potentially losing their talent because they're going to be in a position where, okay, my founder has no idea what he's doing. So this is really important for you to document and outline everything and really nail it down. Now that's all, folks. So I would like to go right now to your Q&A and then go back to Nanda. Let me see, and I need to take a sip of water. I hope this was useful.
Sure. All right. So yeah, do we have any more slides, or we are?
I would like to focus on the questions because I think we can cover a bit more. We have some slides, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be the most valuable thing at the moment.
Sure, sure, awesome. All right. So let me get started with the questions. So okay, Mikhail has the first question. When talking about considering revenue as a parameter for ICP, so the question is, are we talking about revenue for us, ARR that we are generating, that bring us, or the global revenue of the company we target?
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Nanda, but I didn't get the question.
So the question is, when you say revenue that we need to consider in the ICP, is this a revenue of the ARR that the customer can bring us, or is it the revenue of the target company?
I mean so when you talk about the ICP, I mean the revenue of the target company. So obviously, if you're going to Sales Navigator and looking at the filters, you're going to be able to see how much revenue the company is generating. That will be your indicator if they're like a small business, medium-sized business, or enterprise client, and that will determine whether you want to go after them or not.
Awesome. So yeah, next it's from Salom, if I'm right. Okay, when is a good time to make cold calls? Is there any lead generation software that you recommend?
Yes, so cold calls, anytime is good time for cold calls. Right now with COVID, obviously last year it was a bit tricky, and people relied more on LinkedIn and emails. But cold calls are always a great add-on to your strategy. When it comes to lead generation tools, I would recommend Lucia. From what I've tried out, we've tried a bunch of them, obviously. Some of them are also like, that's for finding phone numbers. For actually connecting with folks, Aircall is what we currently use at lemlist, but there are a bunch of them that will just depend on what you actually want to use and try out.
Yeah, I agree. There's tons of tools, but I think it definitely makes a lot of sense to just get in touch with the customer in some way through email or LinkedIn, and then add cold call on top of it. Another question from Salom is, how can you get early adopters?
How can I?
Or can you get early adopters?
Early adopters. That's
Any
a great
specific? Yeah.
Great question. And you do it through networking campaigns. So when I say networking campaigns, it means that you select, let's say, 30 people that you think are potentially first clients of yours, and you start reaching out to them with let's say cold emails or LinkedIn messages, but again, in a personalized way. So you would not say, hey, Nanda, I see you're working at Freshworks. I want to have you as an early adopter for my product. Would you like to start? You would say like, I saw what you've been doing. I loved what you've loved Freshwork for Startups series. I would love to kind of have your thoughts on the new product that we've been building. I know you're going through this expansion of yours, etc. So like it will really be relevant and personalized. And the moment where you would just start building a relationship without asking anything in return. So we're talking about having a beta testers in the beginning, where you would simply get somebody to try out your platform, fell in love with it, and then going from there. So it's in the beginning, it's really about like just building a relationship and not going straight for the sales.
Awesome. Yeah, next up we have Dario. Okay, it's a bit long question, so let me try to condense it. So the question is, even though we are increasing our MRR, we still haven't found out our ICP. Our product could be used by any company, and we have several clients in different industries, and we are finding it hard to find the niche. Any advice on how to go about it? Other than the ones mentioned as lines? Yeah, I think
that's a great question. The thing that I would look at first is identifying where you separate from the competitors on the market, because obviously you most likely are to have some competitors in the market. So what it is about your solution specifically that is different, and then taking that and thinking, okay, so this part of my product that is different, who right now is the person that right now needs that feature. So to give you an example, you have software tools that are automating cold emails. Some of them are taking longer implementation time. They're very CRM focused. They're very extensive enterprise focused, not flexible, strict pricing, etc. They're amazing for enterprise businesses. And then you have tools such as lemlist that are a bit flexible, that have flexible pricing, that are easier to implement, doesn't require a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, meaning that these tools are very flexible, meaning that our flexibility is one of the biggest value props. And then I started to think, okay, so who are the actually personas and companies that are in need of a tool that is currently flexible? And then you start to think, okay, these are the companies that are actually possibly right now expanding into new markets because they're forming new sales team who are just going to be doing a bunch of outbound experiments, who are going to be checking tonalities, channels, different things, and they need to be flexible. They don't want to be stuck on yearly pricing. So this is the moment where you really need to kind of brainstorm about different use cases where you're different and where it can be applied. Obviously, it will depend completely on your business and your product, but you need to find where you're different and then go and dig deeper. Also, taking a look at if you already have your client base, take a look at data and try to figure out the niche that is most common. So find the pattern on the industry that is most common, company size, and just try to get a data on who is your current ICP that is most common, actually.
Awesome. Okay, before we go on to next question, just a quick reminder in case if you're looking to claim, startup credits, Freshworks startup credits of up to $10,000, do check it out in the chat section. So next up, okay, a question from Appy. For building a community, would you recommend LinkedIn or Facebook groups?
It will depend on your ICP. When we started, we built the community on Facebook. Right now, I am at this moment in time, I'm not sure if that was a a good direction. Obviously, at that point when we were building, everybody was on Facebook. Today, not everybody is on Facebook, and it was the moment where we thought, okay, we want to have, we don't want this community to be a part of your job or your day-to-day tasks. I want it to be a part of where it's literally a family where you can after work just chill and talk to your peers. That's why it was separated from like LinkedIn groups, etc. I would recommend today that you think where your audience is. So if you're, for example, an Instagram tool, obviously your community will be more on Instagram. If you're think about creating a Slack group because a Slack community, because everybody right now, if in B2B is using Slack. So that's my recommendation. Facebook today is amazing, but again, you really need to do your research to let me see what is saying here.
To add a couple of cents, I mean, I've been also part of the community building exercise from the last couple of years. Yeah, like Naja said, just go where your customers are. In fact, a couple of communities that I'm part of, there is one community that is at Facebook, there's one at Slack, one at Discord. We have recently seen a lot of millennial Gen Z adopting Discord, right? So if you try to bring your audience from where they are to different platform, it's very hard for them to adopt to the new platform. So the answer is go where your ideal customers are.
I want to take over the question that John just asked, like if there are existing communities, do you recommend to start a new community? Obviously, if you're in the space, for example, right now, me starting a community around sales, just like the B2B outbound sales, I would be one in thousands of communities that is creating that topic. So it's really same as with the ICP. It's for you to figure out where you're good at and your customers are where you can actually give most value. For example, for us, our buying signal is companies that are right now hiring new SDRs, meaning that I can actually create a community around, creating your sales team, forming your first outbound strategies, etc. So finding like a little bit of niche and nailing it down to a specific question is a much better than just starting a new one. And yes, you can always start a new ones because obviously your community can be better than somebody else's. Okay, Nandi, do you want to, have you maybe spotted some question, because we have a
Yeah,
lot which
yeah,
I
there's a
want.
lot of questions flowing in. Okay, uh, let me, okay, I'll take it from the Q&A section. Is it still that simple to nail LinkedIn now that the LinkedIn has dramatically restricted the automation possible on the platform? So how do you go about the
That's great.
LinkedIn limitations?
Great question. So LinkedIn limitations, first of all, if you're using, last year we have seen a rise of LinkedIn automation tools, and the tools itself are not a problem. Is the problem how people are using the tools? Tools are amazing and they can be your best friend. It's a matter of how you will be using them. Lemlist right now also is able to help you out with that. But what we always recommend is that, first of all, take care of LinkedIn limits. Right now, you can send up to 100 connections per week maximum. Is the same for messages. And the moment is that use LinkedIn carefully and smartly. So you will not blast on LinkedIn. You will not use those 20 credits, let's call it like that, for random leads. Cherry pick those that are proper for you and do the personalized outreach. When you do a personalized outreach on LinkedIn and automate it carefully, properly, with still putting personalized touch into it. So just because you're automating, it doesn't have to mean that it's going to be spammy. Keep that in mind. Everything can be personalized. You're going to be able to actually create such a huge network effect that I cannot explain. Most of my revenue today is actually coming from LinkedIn. Although I'm great at cold emails, it's just that LinkedIn right now is working so much good for me that there is no reason for me to spend it on emails.
Awesome. Okay, next up, I think Radhakrishnan had asked this even during the start of the session. So any tips on getting the first enterprise customer?
Enterprise customers. For enterprise customers, keep in mind, first of all, that the buying journey is going to be longer. You cannot go ahead and send one email to an enterprise client and expect to get a return and answer and the product sold. So it's all about the patience and really ABM, I would say, approach to enterprise clients, meaning that a lot of value being brought out in the first initial sales cycles, building relationship throughout, engaging with on all of the channels, potentially bringing in somebody from the bottom. So like a bottom up approach where you would get your champions within the company to actually root for you and praise your product outside of your selling process. It's really a journey of being patient and tactical and really strategic. It's about building a relationship and getting somebody to root for you on the other end, and just taking it slowly. If you cannot rush this and you cannot get an answer in one email, you might, but you will have to be so good at sales and so good with messaging and value props that if you are, try it out, but just my advice is just to take it slowly.
Awesome. Okay, James loves the lemlist template. I'm in. Okay, so the next question from Soren, I guess it's, would you apply the same strategy with a large focus on LinkedIn if you were doing B2C instead of B2B that lemlist is focusing on, or would you rather focus on Facebook, Instagram, etc.? So yeah, I think there was also another question in the chat who mentioned like, how do we go about,
Yeah, for B2C.
for
So
B2C?
I want to be transparent and truthful. I personally don't have a lot of experience in B2C. I personally love B2B space, and that's where I've been like most of my career. But me personally, and this is not a tip from an expert in B2C sales, so that's why I'm taking a step back. I wouldn't approach it the same way. Obviously, I would still maintain, if your customers, if your if your potential customers are active on LinkedIn, still LinkedIn is the best channel that you can go with. But obviously for B2C, it's a bit easier, I would say, to also rely a bit on paid ads, be active on communities, on maybe not LinkedIn if they're not present on LinkedIn. It always is the first question. But again, in my opinion, it all really boils down to building relationship both on B2C and B2B. So it's just a matter of how you scale it in B2C moment.
Awesome. I think we have already just hit the time. So, but Nadia, would you like to take another question?
I would just like to go because I saw one of the questions that I loved.
Sure.
And I just need to find it right now.
Is it in the chat?
Yes, I'm just trying to. Yes, give me a second. I want to send also like LinkedIn personal branding webinar here because I see a question here. Okay, now I cannot find the question. Either way, for any questions that we have here, Nanda, maybe you can send me actually this Q&A list, and then I can message you guys on connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm gonna put both the LinkedIn masterclass right now for you all here. So that you can actually check it out for those who wants to build your LinkedIn brands. And for anybody who I didn't respond to maybe in the Q&A and want to have a chat additionally, feel free to message me on LinkedIn. As you probably know already, I'm living on LinkedIn every day. So give me a second. I'm going to put both my LinkedIn URL and the LinkedIn to the link to the LinkedIn secret. Okay. Sorry, I should have prepared this before, but unfortunately I didn't. Okay, so I'm putting it here in our chat. I hope you can actually open it, and my LinkedIn URL as well if you want to connect with me. I would love to see you all after. So it would be great if actually you enjoy this chat. I would love to hear from you on LinkedIn. So if you can connect with me, send me a message like just that you watched the webinar so that I know you're coming from here. I would love to see and talk to you and follow you a bit more on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Nadia, for graciously extending. And it's been pleasure connecting. I've spent a lot of time in the B2B sales, and I can resonate a lot of what you have shown and the different practices that you've just witnessed. It's kind of like a recap of different things that we've had. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see how founders are solving some of the challenges, and I'm sure like there are tons of value that the founders are able to take out of this. And yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. But yeah, we'll share the questions. We'll share the questions to you. I think you can respond back. And yeah, we'll be also sharing the recording once the session is done. Feel free to reach out. I think you have Nadia's LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out or connect. Yeah, of course, spend time on LinkedIn, build your personal brand. It will help be out in the long term. Yeah, awesome. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Anand, for having me, and Freshworks specifically for everybody else who joined today. I hope this was useful. Obviously, we could have covered so much during this 1 hour that we've had, but be patient, take your time. It's gonna be all good. That's
I think for all the unanswered questions and more to come, I think we'll probably have one more session with Nadia if that happens soon.
Thank you so much. Lovely seeing you all. And yeah, let me know if I can be of any help.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the lemlist team and Daria and the entire team that is setting up. And again, kudos to Sugandhan and internally all the Freshworks team who have helped us to make this happen. We'll stay tuned for the upcoming session. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.